to my channel. So today I'm going to do a requested video, which is the 10 perfumes for life question challenge that has been going around YouTube a bit recently. So the idea is, if you could only ever smell 10 perfumes again for the rest of your life, which 10 will it be? And the way that I have sort of taken this is it's basically my 10 favourite perfumes. Now in the past I've done videos around like top 10 perfumes I'd recommend and stuff, but I've never really gone through my own personal favourites, just because they're quite similar, I think, and you know, they're just my personal taste. They're not necessarily the best ones out there for lasting, for sillage, for whatever, but they are just my favourite. But you guys have been requesting it, so here it is. So number 10, and I had to include this here, is Coco Mademoiselle from Chanel. And the reason why I've included this is because it is the perfume that my mum wears. She has worn it for as long as I can remember, and whenever I smell it on anyone or anywhere, it just reminds me instantly of my mum, and I never want to like not have that smell experience again. So that's definitely in my top 10. To me, this smells like really classic, warm, feminine fragrance, a classic chypre fragrance. It's rose, it's citrus, and it's patchouli. And on the patchouli notes, I did actually check, and all 10 of the perfumes I've chosen have patchouli in. I am a big patchouli fan. I know some people really dislike it, but by coincidence, they all have patchouli in. So that just confirms that I definitely do really love patchouli. So number 9 is Viktor and Rolf Flower Bomb Nectar. So I do like the normal original eau de parfum Viktor and Rolf Flower Bomb, but I really like the Nectar one because it has like a gunpowderiness in it. It's got loads of patchouli, but it's also got some like warm tonka bean type smells in there, which really makes this a nice warm one for winter. Imagine sort of going out bonfire night, treacle toffee and Flower Bomb Nectar. I just think it's a really nice syrupy warm perfume. So number 8 I have here, it's the Givenchy Very Irresistible Intense version. To me this smells warm, sweet, syrupy, that's the kind of fragrance I like. It's got lots of patchouli in, but it's also got rose, plum and musk, and I think the dominant thing you get is that rosy plumminess. I really like plum in fragrances. It gives you that sort of sweetness without being too sweet. It's more like a warm winter sweet, and I find this pretty good for lasting, and I just think it's nice and feminine without being girly, if that makes sense. So next, number 7 is YSL's Mon Paris. I have it here in a little miniature that I'm just using up. This again has patchouli in, but it's also got strawberry, raspberry in here. So again, it's that patchouli mixed with those sweet syrupy notes. To me, this is quite good maybe for spring, summer rather than winter, though you could absolutely wear it in winter, but it's a little bit lighter than some of the other ones that I have on my list. So I tend to associate this more with spring, summer. Again, it has a musk note in, and also pear, which is another thing that keeps popping up in some of my favourite perfumes. So again, I just think this is, and it's quite interesting as well because a lot of the perfumes that I like are purple in colour in terms of the branding, and I think that represents that sort of fruits of the forest, syrupy and patchouli fragrance that I seem to really like. So next is La Vie Est Belle. Again, I have this in a little miniature. I have been going crazy with the miniatures lately because it's just really good for your handbag and stuff. I think this is a really beautiful feminine fragrance. I love the advertising with Julia Roberts. It just reminds me of like a really feminine glowing scent of a woman. It's got praline in and vanilla as well as the patchouli. And I think again this is maybe a mixture of Mon Paris and Coco Mademoiselle, so it's kind of like, again, a bit lighter for me. This is more spring, summer, and there's loads of lovely versions of La Vie Est Belle as well, so I'd recommend trying them. There's a rose version, there's a citrusy version, there's a sweeter version. I really like the Absolute one, so definitely one to try, and I think this is now one of the best-selling perfumes worldwide. It's been so successful. Next is Giorgio Armani Si. I have it here again in a mini. I think this is a really lovely female fragrance. I think this would be good for the office because it's not quite as sweet as some of the other ones on this list. It's patchouli and vanilla again, but it's got a lot of cassis in here. It almost smells like, you know, like a nettle. I know that's a bit weird, but in a really nice way with the vanilla underneath. I think it's really lovely, really like womanly, you know, it's not a girl's fragrance, it's a woman's fragrance. But it lasts really well, and it's really nice cozy to sort of spray on your scarf and have wrapped around you in the winter. It's just a really cozy fragrance, really like it. So number 4 is Flora by Gucci. I have it here, it's nearly run out. This is probably a little bit different to all the others on my list. It does have patchouli in though, but this is probably the most like florally one on there. But to me, this actually smells like a fruity floral. It's got osmanthus and peony in here. But what it also has is quite a lot of orange, but it's like a syrupy orange rather than a zest fresh orange. Again, it has that warmth to it that I really like. And mixed in with the feminine fragrances, I think it just smells just really pleasant. I can't imagine ever getting sick of this or not really being in the mood for it. And when I wear this, I do get so many compliments. Like, you do have to reapply it after maybe 4 hours. But in those first couple of hours when I'm wearing it, people are always asking me what I'm wearing. And because it's not really advertised these days, you know, it's been out for quite a long time, people often say that it reminds them of something in the past, because I think when this was brought out, could be maybe 10 years ago, it was quite popular, so it reminds people of the past, which is cute. But I really like this. I tend to wear this at like family occasions and things like that, because it's just feminine and relatively neutral, whereas some of the other ones that are quite sweet are perhaps a bit more like going out, a bit more like a sexy type fragrance. So I think this again would be good for the office and good for just like neutral weddings, things like that. So next on my list is Le Parfum by Elie Saab. I have run out of it, so I can't show you the bottle, threw it away. But again, I find this to be a really lovely woman's fragrance. A bit like Coco Mademoiselle, a bit like La Vie Est Belle. It's jasmine, it's African orange flower, and it's honey, and a bit of patchouli as well. And it's really just sparkling and feminine, and I think a really modern take on a womanly perfume. Really nice, really good for the office, and I love spraying this in the airport before I get on a flight, and then when I'm sort of sleeping on the flight, it's all like cozy and nice, and I just really like it. I like my fragrances to be cozy and comforting, and this definitely does that. So really nice as a gift, and I think kind of ageless. You know, you could wear this at 20, you could wear this at 100, and it would be appropriate. So number 2 on my list is Miss Dior from Dior. Now I actually have the Eau de Toilette version here, but my favourite is the Eau de Parfum version, and more specifically Miss Dior Cherie, which has been discontinued, which changed its name to Miss Dior, and they took out some of the fragrance notes. This was like the worst moment in perfume history for me ever when this happened, because it used to be my #1 favourite fragrance, and then they changed it and now it's fallen to number 2. So what the normal Miss Dior has, and this is the Eau de Toilette, so it has slightly different notes in it, but the currently available Miss Dior Eau de Parfum has patchouli in, surprise surprise, but then it's got mandarin in, orange, jasmine and musk. All notes that you will have heard me mention in the previous one, so it's kind of like the perfect combination of things for me. But the Miss Dior Cherie had all those things in, but it also had lots of like popcorn and caramel, and it was just such a nice fragrance. It wasn't overtly sweet, it was syrupy and lovely. It also had strawberries in and cherries and pineapple, and it was much more complex and much more lovely, and I am just so sad that they discontinued it and turned it into Miss Dior. I believe it's just cheaper to make. It also like used to have a metal bow on it, now it's plastic. don't get me wrong, it is still a beautiful fragrance, but it was even better before. So such a shame. Maybe one day they'll bring it back and it'll be the best day in perfume history. But for now, really good. And my only real complaint around the Dior perfumes is the price tag. They're just so expensive. It's over £100 for the 100ml. And they're like never reduced. Like you might get them maybe 10% off in a sale, but you can never get them properly reduced. They're really strict with price control, and I just think they're so expensive. And then I don't know about you, but when I have a really expensive perfume, I then don't use it because it feels like, oh, it's not a special enough occasion for me to wear something so expensive, you know. Yeah, so really annoying, and I guess that won't change. They'll never bring the prices down. But yeah, beautiful fragrance, feminine, girly, and I love the patchouli. It's just classic female scent to me. So finally, number one on my list, and you may have guessed this already if you're a fan of my videos, is Jimmy Choo Eau de Parfum. I love this perfume. I'm obsessed with it. I could bathe in it and live in it forever. This is toffee and pear and patchouli. It's just lovely. There's some fresh green mandarin when you first spray it, but basically, to me, this is heaven. It's got that awesome patchouli hug that I love, and the pear and the toffee make it syrupy sweet, but not like strawberry sweet or yeah, and like girly sweet. It makes it nice and beautiful and feminine and like inoffensive, and it's just a pleasure for me to wear. I absolutely love it. Yeah, my only complaint about it is that I wish it was stronger. The pure perfume version is stronger, so I get that sometimes. That's really good, but you do have to keep applying it, but I don't mind. That's a pleasure because I love it. I love Jimmy Choo. So that's my rundown of my 10 for life fragrances. I hope you found it interesting. Let me know if you like any of these too and what your top 10 would be. I'd love to get discussion going about what everyone's top 10 would be. It'd be really interesting to see some common themes, and it has been quite interesting for me because it has confirmed that I clearly love patchouli. I love syrupy sweet fragrances, pear, rose, musk, patchouli, patchouli, patchouli. So it has been quite interesting exercise for me to do. Do subscribe if you want more videos like this. I'm always doing range reviews and overviews of different perfume ranges as well as specific perfume reviews. So I'd love to have you here in my little community of perfume people on the internet. But that's it. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.